I fixed it and put you new ones in there, okay?
Yeah, Jerry already took care of his.
Oh.
He's already got his put in.
Oh, I ordered a whole case of that jelly.
Control, delicious.
Did you
And
taste
hot
it?
Pepper, yeah, just on the spoon a little bit.
So I ordered a case of it.
Someone's making it for sale?
No, it's not selling it. But I did tell him I wasn't gonna take it unless he let me pay.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. No, Manny, he makes that shit.
Well, if he likes doing it. Bobby makes delicious salsa. Or, what's it called? Pico de gallo?
Pico de gallo.
Yeah.
Pico de gallo.
Oh, the guest calling you?
She told me what she called me.
I thought maybe she called you about signing the darn thing.
Yeah, I saw the reconciliation book there and I'll just call up my signature. Because she will be catching me.
Good.
Yes, she will.
Ay, caramba. Porque... Oops, excuse me.
Good morning. Oh, he does have breakfast. Yeah. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
I'm not late, how's that?
You seem really proud of that.
Does that mean you're normally late?
No, I'm usually 10 minutes. I'm usually 10 minutes early.
That's late.
The wife's been away for 2 weeks, so I'm home alone. And she's coming home today, so there's all the things we're trying to catch up on. I gotta make it actually quick. I did the laundry and vacuumed and all those important things.
Did you have an opportunity to go over the proposed,
I have.
well, this might, the budget part might go fairly smoothly. Unless you got a bunch of presentation.
Oh,
Start the meeting. Oh, yeah.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
And to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, this is the budget meeting for 2024, October 17th, to discuss the 2025 budget proposal. So we'll go down this thing pretty quickly here.
You want me to do roll call?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're all here.
he's on a
Roll
roll this
call.
morning.
Mr. Barlow?
Here.
Mr. Kyle?
Here.
Mr. Hill?
Here. Any public comment? Everybody's here to comment? Okay, thank you. Discussion.
We can spend whatever we want, Mickey.
Ooh. Well, you tell me where it's coming from?
Roads, it's coming out of roads.
There you go. All right, so you've had an opportunity to go over the budget with you, they've been put in your boxes. We'll just go sheet by sheet. If you have any questions, you can just stop us, and if not, then we'll just continue to go through there. There's some explanations in there Chris will give you as we go along.
Thank you.
But the on the real estate tax, it's pretty much what comes into the township currently is what we are projecting. Right now, this proposal is not showing any tax increase or anything like that. It's just a straight out what's coming in. versus, what we would be paying out.
I think over the 5 years is kind of what it's been. It's around 265 for the past sort of 5 years.
Yep.
It's flat.
Yeah, pretty much, with our, IET and all is usually what changes. The only two things that will change, the income is gonna be the IET, and then any tax increases, cause we have no other revenue.
Yeah, I think
Really
we
per
do.
se that comes into the
I
township.
talked to him.
Unless you figure out a way we can do that, which will, entertain. you.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll work on that. I'm gonna attract some large business. I mean, a data center. I'm gonna attract a data center to come to town that we can tax.
Well,
That's a bakery, so you can build it in your backyard.
So, 265 is pretty much where we're at with real estate per capita. That's straight out, money that everybody in the township pays, their occupational privilege tax and all that kind of stuff. That's at per capita, it's like what, $5 or $11 a year per person or something like that.
It's 5.
It's fine, yeah. Real estate tax, this is when you sell, if somebody sells a home or something like that, this is the commission or the tax that the township receives. Hopefully people are not moving out of our township, we want them to move in. EIT, as I was just indicating, we're getting about 175 EIT, unless someone comes in and moves into our township that is making $1 million+ a year, I don't see that changing a whole lot. So if you've got any friends that wanna move to Liberty that make a lot of money,
Yeah, we should do that.
yeah, put them on in here. Alright, so our total, is $475,555, and that's in taxes and stuff that we generate, for the year. Wendy will correct me if I say something wrong. And the cable franchise fee, that's $10,000, that's, for cable, in our township, it comes in here. Other parts of, for us is the non-uniform pension plan, that's that, 28,470. We're proposing the next year, this coming year would be 4,800, the difference is 1930. Same with the pension allocation, the 355.05, 5,800. So, and then the fire tax, that is that comes in from the state. We're projecting $10,000 this year. Later on, when we get through the budget, you'll see that money's going right back out.
Same with the pension.
Same with the pension, comes in, goes out.
Alright. Yeah, it's a pass-through.
It's a pass-through, absolutely. So our government revenues, to $16,500 to $12,070, the difference of $44.30. All right, we're going to the general services here at 361. There's zoning hearing fees. Again, these are fees that come in, and we have to pay out. We projected 800. Administration fees 250. That would be for your, if we have a zoning hearing board meeting and you have your stenographer and all that kind of stuff, we have to pay that. We have to pay those fees. 1,050 we're projecting this year. All right, our contract with Freedom Township last year, the contractual agreement was $19,565. There's an increase. We signed a 3-year contract with them, and we have a progression each year income or a raise in the cost. And so next year would be $28,619. That's for 35 hours of service per month for Freedom Township, the difference of $9,054. Highland Township, same exact thing. They have less hours, so their projected cost is less.
One question on the Freedom Township money. So I understand like a 3% CPI, but that's like a 30% increase. Do you know what
They
that-
have 35 hours compared to.
Yeah.
So did they
They
increase
increase
their
their
hours?
hours from 25 to 35.
Oh, okay. So you did say that. So thank
So
you.
is there
Oh, thank you, sir.
is there
Now I
any-
roll.
Thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. I just want to make sure.
Government voters.
Yeah, it was their
Yeah.
annual increase and then also with an additional 10 hours.
Guys, I need to quantify that versus having the Barlow effect.
I didn't hear you.
I had the Barlow effect going on, so I need you to Wendy size to simple it
okay.
down for me.
Yeah, that's exactly how that goes. Yeah, now, I will tell you that Highland Township, in conversation with these guys, in recent, weeks and all, they have, indicated that they're putting, some more money in their 2025 budget to possibly increase some hours of coverage in Highland Township. But that's still up in the air for them. And it wouldn't be, projected lot, I think maybe like 5 more hours a week.
And Highland's an annual, right? Annual.
We actually have a 3-year contract with them, I believe.
This will be the final year.
Yeah, this is the final year.
One thing from last night's meeting,
Yes,
Freedom's gonna contact you, they're on board with the signs.
okay, thank you, appreciate
Just
that.
figured I'd tell you.
Alright, thanks, appreciate it.
And I just have one other question on that.
Yeah.
The hourly rate that we charge for the, let's say we're charging, guys get paid $25 an hour. Do we charge a service processing fee on that, or we just pay straight for the $35 an hour?
Neither, and we can talk about that in more detail.
Yeah,
Which we just give it's a lump sum, that's we estimate.
Yes, it's not,
It's a spitball.
yeah, but it's a washout for us.
exactly, we're not making
We're
it.
not-
Yeah, okay.
This is, we're providing a service and this is what we're
And
charging.
this is what we estimate.
It doesn't have really any, it's not relatable directly to that wages and costs.
Okay, so my follow-on question to that, and hopefully it's okay to ask this question here, would be, so if they say, hey, we, as they have been saying, hey, we want to increase another 20%, right? We're not billing them, oh, hey, by the way, we now increased coverage another 20%, which these costs stay pretty fixed, so
No,
we just would have to,
I mean, we can renegotiate the contract and look at where we've been, obviously when this one ends, and then talk to them, go over, see how everyone's doing, if we want to increase the rate.
and everything obviously everything's
Right,
working.
but as far as them increasing hours now, we're based on the current
Okay.
contract rate.
Yeah, just want to
And
make
then
sure.
that's a stipulation in the contract itself,
Okay, oh,
so
thank you.
it's already in there.
Alright, thank you. Just want to make sure I understand what's behind all the numbers.
Yes.
Yep, you got it. Alright, we'll go to 46242 land use, projected same as last year. Let's say, a lot of these numbers, Chris, come from what we did last year, what we budgeted for, what we actuality, used, actuals, and then we try to make adjustments to the budget for the next year, on what we actually, spent. Junkyard, land use permits, $3,600. The junkyard, we only have one junkyard in the township that is permitted use, and it's $1,000 a year. We increased that a few years ago to reflect the junkyard, and so that's what that is. Driveway permits, pretty much is somebody put in for a driveway, this is the cost, how much we collected for driveways for 2024. Well permits, same way, $2,200. The difference of $9,931 from 44 to 54,121. Sanitation, this is for our wastewater and treatment, not wastewater and treatment, wastewater and sewage. It's 5,000. It's straight 5,000 again for the.
This
for the
pass
25.
account
It's
as
a
well,
pass- yep.
for SEO services, where
Yeah.
people put in for permits or perk tests directly at our SEO.
Yep.
And then they give us the checks and the billing, and then, so it just passes in and out.
Yep, it's one of those pass-throughs. Septic pumping inspections, $100. You'll see later on when we get to as far as the process we're in now is in a different category. But $5,100 is what we're projecting for next year. Miscellaneous revenue is 0. And sanitation, that's on that line there, and refunds it. So our budget for, proposed budget for 2025 is $576,676, a difference of $15,411.
Just out of curiosity, not that it's a big number, what line includes our pump for our tank crew?
That's down in the expenses.
Okay, alright.
This is just income.
Yeah, that's, this is all just income, so our income is increased by 15,411. I will tell you, well, it might be premature to tell you here, but we did get a letter from the state. It comes more in our liquid fuels. We're gonna be seeing a decrease in our liquid fuels over the next 5 years. They gave us a projected, I forgot what the amount was, but they're projecting that we're gonna lose a percentage of our liquid fuels over the next 5 years. You can take that up with your state representative. Alright, so we're gonna move on to expenses. Some of these expenses you'll see are just straight out, that they are what they are, and that's how it is. The supervisor's salary is set at $3,600. We have no control to change that at this point in time. The only time, Chris, that you can control that number or change that number is when a new supervisor comes in. We can vote right now this coming year to change that number, because it's under second class code, it tells you by population how much you can, give the board for being supervisors. We are at that number now, it's done, like I said, off population, that we could increase this, if we wanted to. But the only thing is, you cannot increase it for your setting self. So what would happen would be, it would not take effect until the board started changing members. When you have rerun, if you reran and we passed something like this, then you would get it, but you would not get it until it starts.
2 years from now.
Yeah, you can't get it, we can't give ourselves a raise. That's pretty much what it is. You would have to be going out and the next supervisor coming in to be able to.
This isn't Congress.
That's right. Mileage for supervisors, we plug in at $40. We don't use that very much, but we do have it there in case we need it for conferences or whatever for mileage. Court costs, I think we got none of this fees. Conferences and seminars, $500 is pretty much, we leave that the same. So that general government has stayed the same for $41.40. The county has been raised by $2,500 because the accounting firm, when they give us their projected numbers of what the cost increase is going to be for us, we kind of plug that in here.
Actually, can I comment on that?
Yeah,
That
you
is an
can.
estimate, and I will put that out for quote.
Yeah.
I'm just estimating that's gonna be a cost, and I will put it out.
Yeah, every
And then
year.
we'll get real numbers here in the next month.
Yeah, and that, what happens there, Chris, is every year in our reorg meeting, we do our reorg meeting, we try to go out with our professional services. If we want to change services or we want to do comparison shopping, we do that prior to our reorg meeting, and then if we want to make changes, we have to make them at the reorg.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something just to give thought to if some of those come back.
Yes.
Elected auditors, that's what we have allocated to pay them at this point in time.
They just have one meeting a year pretty
We have
much.
to have a meeting in a year.
$10 for 3 people
yeah.
for an hour.
Yeah, so it's $10 an hour per person. Training for the auditors, $50. We leave it at $50, even though right now we don't have any setting auditors that really do any updated training or anything like that. And again, as Bobby just indicated, the only time we use our auditors is at they have the yearly reorg meeting. The only thing they do for the township is they set the salary of the set working supervisors. That's it. We use SEK right now is our auditing firm. We were here yesterday. They're the ones that does all our auditing as far as stuff. So we do it out of house. So we're projecting $12,150, a $2,500 difference from last year for the financial administration.
I'd like to comment on the next line item.
The commissioner's contract.
So I added that this year. This is for, when we collect, EIT from YATV collects EIT, Adams County Tax Claim Bureau collects taxes for us, and they have commission fees in there. And in previous years, I was just recording net in the income, and now I'm going to, so the income will be higher, and then I'll record the expense of the commission lower. So it's not really changing anything, it's just so that we can see how much of that is actually commission. That we really are getting a larger EIT, and that's the actual cost, but some of it is being lost to commission.
Okay.
Because previously I was just recording the net after commission.
Now you'll
Okay,
see,
so that's all that is.
if you look back and you see other years, this 40310 was not a line item. So Wendy asked about putting that line item in there and being separate, which is what she did. The tax collector, which is Jessica here, this is her commission here, it's a difference of $32. Tax collector wages is staying the same, it's $2,060. The office supply and envelopes that she uses to send out the letters and stuff is $450. Mileage is $25. Tax bills and duplicates prints, that's what it cost us for printing. $63 for the dollars for the tax bond. Is that per month?
No, it's for a year.
That's per year. Okay.
Yeah, it's split, and it's, I think it's a 3-year bond, and it's split, paid for by the school system, and the county is for her, cause she collects taxes for all of them, so we share costs on
Yeah,
that
okay.
bond.
Yeah, right. I don't know that I asked that question before. Conference things, $100, you know, tax collectors every year, they got this yearly conference thing like everybody else where they get updates on different things happening in the county and state and our school for tax purposes, so, that's a fee for the conference to go there. So the difference of $3,032 from $6,749 to $9,781, for
And you'll see the
2025.
bulk of that is just me adding that commission.
Yeah, and you know, as we get farther in here, you also see that we've changed some stuff, moved stuff around, and eliminated line items and put them in another, place because we had multiple line items that were like, that's stupid, you know, it should be in one thing. So solicitor fees, I have, projected $2,500, $25,000 from $20,000, in solicitor fees. And, I'll talk to you about that in executive session, why the difference, $5,000 is in there. Secretarial, and treasury at 405.13, this is Wendy. Wendy right now, her salary, or her, hourly rate, is equivalent to $57,218. That, I wanted to say one thing on here. This $57,218 actually, is for 40 hours a week. Wendy has averaged, been working for ever. She averages about 35 hours a week, because that's what Wendy wants to work, and she, so anyhow, so this number, when you look at it, the same rate as 2025 is $62,920. That's an increase of $2.75 per hour for Wendy, for 2025. But again, that's if she worked 40 hours a week, and she doesn't, she works 35, sometimes less.
So it's really still
Is that true? I can't work less.
But she can't work less. Oh, that's right,
Right,
because
you
of
get benefits.
because of benefits.
Just pension, all that good stuff.
That's a
And
5,000.
also, make note that these budgeted numbers are not giving a person a raise, the raises are set at the January meeting.
Correct, these are not,
This
these
is
are,
just budgeting.
yeah, these are just
This
budget for
does not
budget.
say that that person's going to be getting that until in January you set raises and salaries.
Correct, yeah, that is correct. I wanted to, thank you, Wendy, for bringing that to the attention, because I was going to, but you took care of it.
No, it's like you can budget that and then you can say 0 raise at the meeting and
Yeah.
keep it at 57.
Same way with the secretary, this is, for, Jessica Ilko, the assistant secretary treasurer, this is part-time, actually, it's 405.15.
That's half or part of her wages.
That's
How
probably,
many hours per week?
that's 15 hours a week.
Okay.
For Jessica to working for the secretary treasurer position, that's what, of course, you guys know that, we combined the two positions in the township and made them one, and then Jessica now is, in that position. Now, that's with a $1 increase in pay from $23 to $24 an hour, a proposal for Jessica at 18,800, a difference of 8,396. The training for secretary treasurer is $150, and nothing's changed on that. Same way with the assistant treasurer, nothing's changed on that. Mileage of $25, and then meetings and conferences are $100 now. Wendy does go to some of these meetings. They have at different townships. She'll go and she just went to one not too long ago. What was that?
No, I think those are free, by the way, so.
Oh, they're free.
Yeah, this training would be more online for the assistant if we can get her up to speed on things, so.
Okay.
That's just in that case training is needed. We don't, yeah, I haven't been using much lately.
Alright, so, the difference of $14,098, from $68,047. Proposed budget for the secretarial position for both the, secretary and the assistant is $82,145. General government administration, these fees are things that come in from the bank, we pay back out and office supplies and stuff like that. Do you have any questions on those at all?
None.
Alright.
Does postage include the septic system
No,
mailing?
that's
No,
another
no,
line,
no,
no, that's
that's-
another line item.
Okay.
And we won't be doing that next year.
Right, but I was just wondering.
Yes, no.
Now, you will change, see at the bottom of 40642, the membership dues and subscriptions, that has changed. And the reason some of that has changed is PSAC's, memberships and fees have changed, which were implemented into here and were not before. Same way with recorders at office at $850. So these are numbers that we actually plugged in here from what the previous year's expenses and projected for next year. It's a difference of $1,800. IET support, that would be Jeff Baum comes in and it's a monthly contract we have with him.
For unlimited service.
Yeah, for unlimited services, it's increased approximately by $250 for 2025. Web hosting, that has dropped by $75. You want to explain that one again, Wendy? I remember you said to me about it.
I think I just overestimated it with counting previously, and the actual came in, so I adjusted it.
Software subscription, of course, live streaming in QuickBooks. QuickBooks raises their prices just about every time they do an update. We get a price increase, and it's about $1,900 increase to. And again, these are actuals that Wendy has numbers that came in that they're projected for 2025. So our network services is $10,500, difference of $2,075.
Just one question on the live stream and QuickBooks. Those are costs that you pay out of pocket for those, or does the county provide the live streaming service?
No, we are subscribed to a live streaming service here.
Okay.
We're being streamed right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Engineering services, this is, we raised it by $500 because, we've been using the engineering firm, a lot here, over the last year for different things going on in the township. And, so we raised it to $4,000. General government plant, we'll go into that, the break room supplies, we dropped that by $750. Last year we did a lot of work in the break room, we're putting new cabinets in and sink and stuff like that. This is more in line with the coffee and different supplies that we use in the break room, water and stuff like that would come out of here. Building maintenance, you see there we have moved those things. Some of those things have been moved from other categories. 43026 and 43037, we moved stuff from there and we put it in here. And we raised it by $4,500.
And some of those things were previously getting charged to the road department budget, but we realized those were building maintenance supplies and not necessarily specific to the road department.
Yes. Propane, these are actuals of what we've used so far this year. We haven't, last year we had a budget for 2,000. We haven't even, actually we're lower than 1,000 right now. I believe we're like $900, something like that. So I don't project it's going to get any colder. It could, and that may change, but right now we're going to go with that number there and see what happens. Same way with gas. The gas is we projected 10,000. We're low below that projection, so we left it at 10,000 because we don't know what the price of fuel is going to be in 2025.
Just to be sure, line item that is gasoline, and that does include diesel.
No,
No,
this is gasoline.
that's gasoline.
Diesel and biodiesel come out of the liquid fuel
Liquid
budget.
fuel. That's out of
The
liquid
liquid fuels budget.
Okay.
Yeah, that's out of
This
fuel.
is only
Yeah,
gasoline.
this is gasoline for the police department and for the road department, yeah. And again, if I see that, right now we are with Arrow, if I see that they jack their prices on us, then what I will do is I will be going out and getting proposals from other, suppliers, that's what I do. And keep them competitive.
Yeah.
So right now, we're getting the best price for them, they've been fair to us on that, and, so there's no reason really to go shopping when you're getting the best price already.
Right, and just to monitor that, every time we get the gasoline bill, I send it to all of you.
Yeah, okay.
And so if anytime you wanna ask me, what was it last time? Cause the price is fluctuating based on, I guess, the market.
Yeah,
It goes up and down a little bit, so many cents.
But we can take an email that shows.
Yeah.
Yes, I sent that to you, so
Yeah.
you could ask me if you wanted what the previous ones are.
Yeah.
And the septic pumping that's next, I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Kreiholz, that's where that is. That's the pumping for the building,
Gotcha.
monthly.
so our expenses, we're projecting for 2025 is a difference of 2750 from last year for the general building and the plant maintenance. All right, next one is going to be the police department. The police department, these things, again, is when you indicated some of these things, we would be taking action at the January meeting. These are proposed numbers for budgeting purposes only. Right now, we do not have a chief of police. We have an OIC officer in charge on a part-time basis, but he has submitted a letter of interest to be considered to be promoted as chief on a full-time basis, with the projected number of pay of that would be $59,000 for 35 hours a week at a rate of $32 an hour, which is a $2 an hour increase from where he's currently at right now at full-time. The full-time officer that we had, we zeroed out because we do not have him anymore. The administrative secretary, this is the new line item that you have at 41014 in there. This is the other part of Jessica's job in the township now. At 10 hours a week, right now she's at $23 an hour, $24 an hour with a $1 increase in pay. Would move that number to $12,500 for her time that she works in the police department.
And the new activities that are being accounted in there, that's like keeping CGIS updated and all the records associated with any incidents and all that sort of stuff.
File reports,
Right.
yes.
And that was hadn't been being done as a paid position, or was it just rolled into something else prior?
Well, what it was before the chief of police was responsible for all that stuff.
Okay.
And then we had the part-time officers did the street stuff, and the chief of police became more of an administrative position than actual out on the street position. This here is to free up the officers that they can actually be out on the street, and then they have someone in here that's not a police officer per se. Actually, I shouldn't say that, because when Jessica takes this position and she went through CNET and all this other stuff, she actually does get a badge number.
Oh, okay.
So she becomes attached to the police department. But this is, she's administrative. She's,
Great. Okay.
she's not.
And I noticed that change. I noticed the report showing up now, and that's got to be an influence from her activities, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yep. Part-time police officers, you'll see here, difference last year, we had budgeted $38,272. I've increased the budget proposal for $44,625. There's an increase of $6,353, and one of the things that you're gonna see, this is a $1.58 raise, for the police officers, for 2025, to $20-25 an hour. But also, last year, we were doing 1,500 hours for part-time police officers, and I've increased it to 1,750 hours of police service from our part-timers to give them more time on the street. It also gives us, it doesn't give us a full-time police coverage, but it does give us almost 7 days a week coverage at some point in time, 4 hours here, 6 hours, 8 hours there. That way that we have more police hours on the street. So that's a difference of 250 hours added to the police department, which comes out to like, I can't remember what it was, without going through my list, it's about 31 hours a week.
That's great.
For part-time police officers out on the street. And of course, Terry can schedule them wherever he wants, but that gives him more hours to be able to massage with those guys and have them on the street.
And does Terry communicate that to the other townships, to Freedom and Highland?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the things that did this too is it was the thought that, you know, Freedom may pick up, not Freedom, but Highland may pick up more hours also.
Yeah, okay.
For the township. The DUI enrollment reimbursement, right now it's $1,050 is what we had last year. I did talk when I was talking with the budget with Terry, and he reached out to Pennsylvania State Police and the Roman DUI patrols for Adams County, and they have indicated to him that they are going to give us more hours, not only for Liberty Township, but for Highland Township and for Freedom Township. Before, we were only getting hours for just Liberty, but we were using them in the other two. So with his discussion with them, they have indicated to him that yes, they are gonna give us hours for every one of the other two townships. So that's probably gonna increase quite a bit. And
that's.
that, go ahead. With that money that we get is comes back to the state for hours that they're out on the street, which will offset our part-time budget, if we're getting money back from the state, when they're out there, say they're doing an 8-hour patrol. I know right now from October 11th to the end of the year, they're doing aggressive driving and DUI, patrols right now, so that's money that's it comes into the township for them to do those activities. And that will come straight back to the township. So so if we have an officer out there for DUI for 8 hours, they submit it, Terry will submit it to Wendy will bill them, and they pay us.
That's great, right.
Yeah, so that's money coming straight from the state back to us. Office supplies, we increased by $200. Now you see some of these things have been reallocated again. These are numbers that got massaged around that Terry felt that need to be moved around a little bit. So you see increase and decrease in that. $2,500 was reallocated from 410-23 and 410-24. And then another $1,000 was dropped in other office equipment. And a lot of times when we talk about office equipment stuff like that, they're talking like the stuff they need for the computers and the radios and different stuff like that that they use in their for the police department.
Yes, that's what the other equipment is.
Yes.
The office equipment would be more the computers and right, other
Yeah.
equipment would be if we're getting the NRADs and things like that, or
Yeah.
new stopwatches or something.
Yeah, we just had INRAD here, Raybold here yesterday. Every month we have to, or every 6 weeks, we have to have our cars and our time and control devices have to be calibrated by us. We have to have that done and then documented, and that's the cost to be evident for that. Operating supplies dropped by $450. Vehicle maintenance also dropped by $1,000. And again, we have two fairly new vehicles here, other than general maintenance and changing the oil and tires, stuff like that. Those are things that we really ain't having a lot of problem. The one vehicle we have has got some age on it. Actually, over the last year has not been used very much because it is an older vehicle. It's just where we're at now. Uniforms, we increased that by $800. Now we have, if you look at your sheet, we have about, I think, 5 officers, 5 part-timers. There's 6 part-timers. You include Terry. So if you take that and divide it by those officers, it's not very much for uniforms for those guys. Repair and maintenance, $1,500.
That's the calibrations.
That's the calibrations, it sure is. Dues and memberships, Terry felt that we didn't need to, most of that stuff is free, that he goes to, and those memberships that he's involved in, so we dropped that out of the budget. The meeting and conferences, well, you see, some of this money that is $450 and is $300, we just rolled that into meeting, conferences, and education. Increased the budget by $800 on there. Public education, that is the 500, we went from 300 to 500, and that pretty much is going to be one of the things I talked to Terry about here recently, and you'll see we are actively participating in trick or trunk or treat, or whatever you want to call it. I believe we need to have more community involvement, and that's where I put money in there for them to be able to buy stickers, pins and badges and all this stuff that they can actually pass out to some of these events for the kids. Alright, then we drop on down to the police department. Last year our budget for the police department was $166,545. The proposal this year is $139,175. The difference is $27,000. Okay. This foreign fire tax, it says $10,000. Again, when you saw it in your income, here it is going out. It comes in, it goes right back out to the fire departments, 3 fire departments. Two fire departments, Fountaindale and Fairfield, get this money and it's divided equally between the two. planning and zoning. The planning secretary, she gets $50 per meeting that she comes to. We allocated $600 for that. And just for your information, really for information only, I was reading through minutes from back in 2000. We were actually paying the secretary for the planning board at that point in time $100 a meeting, or $100 a month. So I don't know where down the road that ended up getting to, but it ended up getting dropped, and then now it's been put back in, but still less money than we were paying. Training at $150. The planning and zoning supplies, you'll see there that that line has changed from $750 to $200. And these are numbers that it came into Wendy, and she's been able to plug them in there for updates for the subscription for E-Code, and the annual updates to $12.50. Professional services for the planning board is $1,200, and that would be for like the KPI when they come to for the engineer to come and be a part of the meeting. Advertising, that speaks for itself. A zoning hearing board, that's straight in, straight out. We actually dropped that from 5,000 to 1,000. That's because when we have a zoning hearing, we have to advertise all that, and then we have they have their own attorney. Correct. So we're projecting that we're not going to have a lot of zoning hearings for 2025, but that could change.
True, it's completely unpredictable.
Yeah, we don't have an open.
Wasn't one year we got everyone on the board and told them we haven't had meetings in 3 years, and then we had, 4 that year?
Yeah, that's how it rolls. Then they come back and say to me, "You lied to me." I'm like, "No, I didn't. I told you the truth." These people just got disgruntled all the time. The next line item here you see is zoning officer contract. Right now it's at $10,000. We raised it to $15,000, with a difference of $5,000. And some of that thought is some of the ongoing cases that we have right now that are in the court system that we have to have the zoning officer go to. That's where we're at right now with that. It's a difference of $2,250. All right, Fairfield Regional EMA.
I have to apologize, I don't know why we stopped paying them, I think that is an error on this budget. Did you see how they just?
Yeah, you just start giving them $100.
That needs to go back in,
Oh, yeah.
so maybe correction to your budget, I'll make a $150 adjustment there.
Right.
That actually means you pay them, that's a fee for you.
Which line item was that?
That is 41510 Fairfield Regional, it's FREMA.
Yeah.
We pay a fee to them for services and we're part of FREMA,
Yeah.
and that just fell off your paper.
Yep. Alright. Now the next item down here is going to be donations. SPCA, that's straight in. This is what we've done before. It is optional, so if the board wants to decrease it, increase it, that's something that we would need to discuss and decide what we want to do. But this is the annual donation that we've been given to SPCA is $300 a year. The next line item 42120 is a donation line, is $30,000. What happened, Chris, for your information, is years ago we did a fire tax here in the township, and other than saying that, we got to a place that the township felt it was better that the township decide how they wanted to address the donation to the fire companies and stuff like that. So we eliminated the fire tax in Liberty Township, but we still kept the line item in here and put it in this regular donations. That way we can give it out to anyone we want, or we can use it to balance the budget. It's totally what we want.
I got it.
So that's where that 30,000 is right there. Sanitation and wastewater. This is our Act 357 sewage program. We increased it to $2,500. Right now we don't have anything going on right at the moment, but we have had some activity with the modular.
This is the
Go ahead.
septic program.
Yeah.
You see that next line item has been eliminated. So
Yes.
actually, Act 537 includes the mailings, the pumpings and all, and then any collections that we may have going into next year for people who haven't pumped, we'll have to then go forward with collections.
Yes. Yeah,
So then I eliminated the line item.
yeah, so she dropped it out of here and put everything at the top there.
Okay.
SEO service, general services, this is coming from our SEO officer, and as Wendy just indicated, we had a hearing last week, with the particular person that is not being pumped in his system. Some of those fees go in here, cause he has to go report to the courts and, argue our case and why we need to move forward. Same way as this other one that Wendy just talked about, this $5,000 came in, goes right back out. You'll see that on your the income, and then it comes right back out here. All right, we'll move on to 430, 43010, the road crew supervisor. Wages. This is Bobby over here. We just took these from actual numbers that was worked for 2024, and then projected what we were looking at for 2025. It's a difference of $631. The thing is, what we can't do here is we only can go off of what Bobby's pay rate per hour is right now, because supervisors that are working supervisors has to be set by the elected auditors. So if they give an increase, that number will change. So this is off of projected what the hourly rate is at the moment. Same way with my salary as a roadmaster wage right now, it's set at $38,496. I did put a $12,500 difference in there. I have been talking about this for a while, and I haven't done it yet, is about retiring. If I do retire and we need to look for a roadmaster to take my position, you're not gonna find one at a part-time rate. That ain't gonna happen. Nor are you gonna find one, if you look at the county average and the state average for roadmaster, they're over $31 an hour and up to 40. I'm at $24 an hour, so we will not get one, at that price. So again, we put this number in here. If you want to massage it, you most certainly can. We can drop that number to 40,000. I don't really care, myself, actually, but we put that in there in case it gets to that point. I mean, I could get sick and not be able to work and then find some money.
Well, it kind of goes for both of those line items, right? I mean,
It does.
I mean, at some point, Bobby's going to be done as well, right? And I'm sure that Bobby's on here on an affordable rate, and it's still for somebody. It's not like you guys don't come in and just sort of are your baseline.
Right.
You know,
What Bobby and I do in here for the township is at a very, very low rate compared to the other townships.
exactly.
If you had to replace either one of those, that's nowhere near. Well, you're just not gonna have it.
Well, what I'm looking at is you're going to have to place both of you probably in the next 5 years. I mean, you both. I know Bobby loves this job, but.
Especially the road crew portion.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is mainly for our budget purposes and trying to get a number plugged in here, and also take into account the possibility that one of us is not here. How are we gonna do that? But that's what that number is. There's no increase in pay as far as wages. We drop down to the next one. It's a little different story. That would be for our seasonal road person, Bruce Petcher, that works for us now. He's a skilled laborer. I'm proposing a $1 increase in pay for him to 24, which again, he is our backhoe operator. If we had actually, he is a retired guy. He comes in here and works with us and hangs out with us. It helps us. If we actually had to replace him, we're looking at more like $39 to $40 an hour.
They're expensive.
Yes, they're expensive operators, but for skilled laborers. But this was with no benefits too. Then and an unskilled laborer at $21 an hour. These is 10 hours. That if each one of them came in and worked 10 hours a week, which usually never happens. So my projected thing for that is $23,500 for the year. It's a difference of $2,900. Uniforms, $1,200, which I did tell Bobby we probably should do that this coming year, is go out and buy some new shirts to color yellow, make us look pretty out on the roadway.
They kill it pretty.
It is.
Yeah, high visibility clothing. We don't really go out and buy a lot of that. Usually we wear our own clothes and stuff like that. But anyhow, we probably should start doing something like that. Small tools and minor equipment. We're at 2,500. We dropped that by 2,500. CDL program. That's something new that we've in the township. We're still in the process of getting this implemented. So we plugged in $2,500 for that, because we're not quite sure what all it's going to entail. We do know if someone gets called in for drug testing, Bobby did indicate he thought it was like $50 in testing, but I don't know. I can't tell you what
Well,
it
it
is.
depends, you know, there's drug and then there's drug and alcohol.
Correct.
So it depends upon what you draw.
Right.
And also was increasing the training budget for not just the CDL, but you've been attending some trainings previously you weren't attending.
Yeah, doing that also,
Conferences.
some of those trainings, and also a part of the CDL thing, in previous places, myself particularly, I don't know how Bobby was with, he did trucking and stuff like that. There's some companies that I worked for before, that they paid for my renewal for my hazmat license and stuff like that. We don't right now. I actually just dropped my hazmat this year. Bobby dropped his last year, I believe it was. We don't have the hazmat. But we can, if we needed to, we can say, hey, you know what, if you want to work for us and we want to keep a CDL driver, that would be something we say, well, you know, we'll help you pay for your renewals, all that old crap. But we haven't in the past, but it's something we could do. Shop repair and maintenance, we dropped that line item, we moved it to 40925, is what he indicated earlier. Some of the stuff that we were had in the road department was in the road department, then it'd be in building maintenance. So we transferred that money to 40925. Signs, left $1,200 in there for signs. As I was indicating earlier, yesterday I was out doing a sign count in the township. We do have some signs that are missing along our roadways that need replaced. I did replace one. We have no 35-mile-an-hour signs. If we needed to put one up, I have 0, so I need to order some of those that haven't been stocked. Another signs that we have, some of our road signs like Bullfrog and McLaughlin, if you drive over there, you'll see those signs are bleached from the sun. You can't even read it. Those signs need to be replaced. So that's what is $2,500 to $1,200 for signage is the money comes from for those type of signs.
I have one question on that. So
Yeah.
I assume we're responsible for roads that we maintain on the signage.
Correct.
However, a state road, like 116 or whatever, the state's responsible for the
Correct.
signage on there.
Track road, yeah.
Unless we put a sign up on state road.
Yeah, so if you wanted to put a tractor sign on the one that was there by Paul's house, by Paul Hobbs's place, we would replace that, right?
We have done that in the past. It's not normally something we do. That was a special exception that they asked for,
Okay.
and we put up, and then we put one up over on my road too, because I'm a farmer too. Because we didn't have one there, I said, well, we're gonna put one there. You need to put
Yeah,
one over
right.
here. So, but that's something typically we don't use liquid fuels money or
Okay.
township money to put up those type of signs. Those are called they're not warning signs; they're informational signs. So they're not required signage, but we do it on occasion. And that's one reason we have not replaced the signs that someone
Yeah.
stole.
Exactly. I didn't knock it over.
Yeah, because people steal those signs all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the same way like Cessna Trail. The blue signs, we don't replace those signs. We did at one point in time, but we were told by the solicitor that that's something we should not be using township money for,
Right.
private road signs.
So if an individual wants to do it, hey, you can pay the $200 to put the sign up.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
onus is on you.
Yeah, you can, we can order the sign, you can tell us we want the sign, the board agrees, we can order the sign through the township and everything, and then they reimburse the township for it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to approach
Yeah,
that.
so
Okay.
that's kind of, the signs as far as state roads though, we do have some signs out on state road that we put up, like the no left turn signs,
Okay.
weight restriction signs, and those are our signs, and so we are responsible to replace them.
Okay, you got a handful. We have a handful.
And we have to get permission from the state and
Oh.
tell us where.
Yeah, that's what we do.
That took a couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it did.
No more than 1 week.
Not like it.
What, 3
In a
years?
year.
Yeah.
For this signs budget, this is just normally for signs that wouldn't be covered by liquid fuels.
Yes.
Because we do have a budget for, like he was saying, signs that we need for the roads that aren't just informational, they can be paid for in
Yeah,
the
okay.
other budget.
Yep,
So
got it.
these are just kind of miscellaneous signs.
Yeah, miscellaneous signs.
Yeah, nice.
There's a new line item you see here in the road part and bridge, 43801, it's vegetation and seeding. We felt we needed to put something in there because this past year, we did take on, do some spraying along some of our roads and also, for vegetation, and also we did some seeding where, we ended up putting in the topsoil in some of the roads that we worked on, and then we needed to go out and get grass seed. So we put in $1,200 for that for the future, moving forward. Coal patch, aggregate stones, those are numbers that we plug in every year for projected use for next year, in the road department.
And that again is miscellaneous because there is stone in the other.
Yeah, it's in the, a lot of these
They're real
things,
strict on how we record what we used it for, so sometimes we just need to throw stone out and things like that in different places, and we can't specifically record the project,
Yeah.
it comes out of general.
it comes out of our general fund, not our liquid fuels.
And so you're saying the state highways administration is strict about how you use this?
How
Oh,
we
liquid
use the
fuels.
liquid fuels
liquid
fund,
fuel fund.
so
Oh, I
when,
got you.
when we buy stone and we charge it to the liquid fuels budget, I have to allocate exactly where we
Okay.
put the stone and what it was for.
That makes sense.
But if someone says, hey, we just need to put some stone over here real quick,
Yeah,
we'll have
gotta
to use this particular budget.
Yeah, thanks, comes out of there. The bridge, and maintenance, this is for replacing, like bridge signs, cleaning on bridges, doing some bridge, small minor bridge repairs, that's $438.05. And then the next one for, so that comes at $15,000 for that area, a difference of $3,800 and $11,200. Our total highway and maintenance budget is projected at $103,100, a difference of $9,485. Library, that's a donation that we have, generally gave to the library over the last few years of $500. Again, any of these donations are subject to change at any time. The supervisor, if they want to increase it or decrease it, that certainly is something we can talk about. I don't know what you guys' thought is on that, but that's kind of where that is, in donations. Payroll expenses, these things are straightforward, this is what it cost us to operate, the township.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go
They're
ahead.
just estimates based on actuals.
Actual numbers, yes. Uniform pension things, these are our, things that we have to put in $1,045 as the funds, deposited in the police plan. Then the MMO is, we're projecting $35.05. And then the non-uniform pension plan and the uniform fees, these are numbers again that,
Those are actuals.
they are all actuals. Now, some of this may change, I know, Wendy and I discussed this a couple of times when we had a full-time police officer,
I think that information has changed, so I
Yeah.
think that's incorrect now.
so that's
We're
changed.
fine, we're fine.
Okay, all right. I will bring that matter up then. Thanks, Wendy. All right, so $1,365 is the difference from last year to projected this year. Workman's comp, it's straight out the way it is. We pay out what we have to pay out, and these are projected numbers again that Wendy's tried to put together for the board. Fire, Fairfield Fire EMS, these are,
It's our portion of the bill that's shared between municipalities for those fire companies.
yeah,
Yeah, we have to pay the workman's comp.
Yes.
That helps us a lot there.
yeah, and that's, they're $2,500 to Fairfield, $3,000 to Fountaindale, that we end up sharing.
And those two estimates, are those based on like a percentage of what we donate, or they send us a bill?
No,
They
This
send
is
us
it.
a bill, they're like, here's our bill, here's your percentage of the bill. And it's an agreement that we have that we review every several years, to reallocate if it has changed that Liberty is using more, or Fairfield, or Carroll Valley. Every 3 to 5 years, they do try to adjust those numbers
Based on the number of
actuals.
calls?
Yeah,
Okay.
based on
And
that.
that's something we have to pay out, it has nothing to do with the donation at all.
Got it, okay.
That's an actual invoice.
Sometimes, I have a,
I know where you're going, I got it.
yeah. So over here on the back page here, is gonna finish up our proposed general budget for 2025. This is property equipment, this is insurance and liabilities we have straight out. And it's from the actual numbers, so it doesn't change. And then down here you have the transact from the Plica, general reserves is 0, transfer.
Transfers, good.
Yeah, transfers for capital reserve is $7,000, and then, you go down here to miscellaneous, it's 0. So our projected budget for 2025 is $576,676, a difference of $15,411, for 2025. Any questions on the general budget?
Just out of curiosity, Wendy, did you base that on hitting CPI at 2.5%?
What?
That your budget, I mean, lines right up with what
No,
CPI is.
that's just an accident. I just do the budget with him.
I tell you, that's
Whatever,
I mean, that's a pretty good,
that's what we do. We just,
Uh.
I'm a penny pincher and
yeah.
You're not a micromanager, I was told.
there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just shocked, I was just shocked at how close you hit the bank. Not even thinking it, I mean, you're on, if anyone were to ask what
Well,
we're doing on the budget.
honestly, we only have a set amount to work with.
Yeah.
And that's really what the budget is. What's our income? And it doesn't change. It
Yeah, no.
changes.
Yeah.
So if you're not gonna get more than 500,000, you can't spend more. So
Yeah.
I'm
And if anybody
confident.
asks, I mean, your increase is so with CPI, they're paying it at home, we all know that things are more expensive now,
Right.
and maybe that's, yeah, right on, excellent.
no, it's purely accidental. And I'm just
I'm
based.
impressed.
It's basically saying it based only on we only have that much money. That's all we get.
Yep.
The next sheet we would go to is our highway liquid fuels sheet. Now, as I indicated to you earlier, we did get a letter from the state indicating that we were, for some reason, it sticks in my mind that we were getting 30% decrease over the next.
30, I don't think.
Was it 33?
No, it was something like a 5%.
I know, but over a 5-year period,
Right.
it's like 30%.
I'm not gonna confirm it, no.
Well, anyhow, it's
dropping.
It is it's a drop over the next 5 years, and it's a percentage.
So what you're saying is it might be 5% this year,
Then
then
five, and then
5%,
five,
then
right.
5%, so
Yeah.
the cumulative effect is
Yes,
that you're gonna lose
exactly.
like 20% of your budget over
There
5
you
years.
go.
Yeah, something like that, I think is what it's.
Correct.
You're saying you feel pain coming.
Well, we might
That's-
do it. The state wants, whatever their reasoning is, that's, okay, whatever. We can't do anything about it, so, but they did let us know. So this is, our liquid fuels, up at the top is the interest that's coming in on the, it is what it is, 1,500. You'll see right here, right off the bat, the difference in last year's what we got was 76,825. This year, we're projected to get 76,050 to $777. Take that over 5 years, there's what's coming in at. The capital, the transfer of capital reserve is 35,708. We're not gonna transfer anything, it's staying zip.
If you wanna help with this, we might look at that sheet.
Yeah, it's.
Let's pull that sheet out that says budget reserves, and these are for road, that's directly related to your road work.
To see the
And
sheet
that-
here, yeah,
That's where you're getting money to put in the liquid to cover the contracts and the road work in the liquid fuels.
and, so, these are the, right here, this $201,950 is a transfer out of general reserves. And the reason this particular number is being generated, I gave Wendy, a projection for road projects for 2025. My road project, actually is 208. But I did massage it a little bit and moved it up to 215. And those were numbers that I actually got from contractors to give me some kind of numbers to plug into the budget. It's not an actual number, so it is probably inflated a little bit because they don't know what the actuality is going to be next year. But anyhow, this was a road project for construction in Liberty Township for 2025. So, the transfer from general reserves, $284,200, we're proposing $201,950, difference of $82,000. Operation transfers of $319,908, again, there's the 201,950. So the total is $398,235. We're proposing for the budget $279,500 for the liquid fuels budget.
Did you, what road projects were that? I forgot.
The road project for next year, proposed, these are things that I'm proposing, they may
Right.
change depending on what happens, next year. It's not, as far as the road department, but one of the projects is to finish, the Bullfrog Road project, resurfacing, the rest of the Bullfrog Road, putting lines across the road, we're striping the road. There's a couple pipes that need to be replaced on that road, and then ditching work, that needs to be finished up. That's the project that I'm proposing for next year. But again, the winters could throw us a whole different ballgame, we have to go in a different direction. So anyhow, that's where we're at for next year, right now. We move down to our expenses. These are things that we have to deal with for each year. $1,000 for the equipment purchases. Salt, last year we came under budget for what we did for salt. So this year we're putting down for $4,000. We're planning on not using as much salt as we did. Actually, I did drop the contract. Dropped the contract from the one last year we got 66,000 tons. I believe I dropped it this year to 45 tons, 45 tons.
Two truckloads.
2 truckloads, yes, because we have leftovers from last year. Annex skid, we buy that as we need it, so I projected this year we are gonna need about $2,000 in the annex skid if we get snow and we need to do that. One thing that I did share with the neighboring township here is we can say we want 40,000 tons, and that's what we reserve, that's what we have to take, at some point in time of the year. But we can go over that, by 80%. So if we get a storm that comes in here and just slaps the piss out of us, we didn't plan on having, we can call and say, hey, we need, more salt, and they'll bring it to us and, at the contracted rate.
Okay.
So we are protected in that way. If something happens unexpected, we wasn't planning on getting going on. So our winter maintenance projected is $2,000 less than last year. It's $6,000. Road traffic control devices. These are signs that we use for man working ahead signs and flag signs and stuff like that. $2,500. Small tool repair, it's at $200. Vehicle repair, I did raise that up to $4,800 to $9,800. And some of the things that did push that is this past year with our backhoe, especially our backhoe. We put a lot of money into repairs of the backhoe. We still have an ongoing issue with the backhoe as we speak. Same way with our mower. Our mower, we spent some money on repair work for a mower. We're hoping that with the grant that we've applied for, next month they're supposed to make a decision on who's going to get that grant. If we end up being awarded that grant, we'll be replacing our backhoe with a boom mower in 2025. Repairs of tools and equipment, $10,000. Again, there's $4,800 in there difference because of this. I just indicated the backhoe and the mower. I think we did have a couple of things we did with the big truck. We had some work done on that this past year. Was that this past year we did the clutch?
2 years ago.
2 years ago was the clutch on that. At 43801, that is other road works. We just kind of washed that out to zero and reallocated the money somewhere else with it. The bridge repair, I've been carrying that for the last 5 years at $40,000. We did get a lot of work done on our bridges in the past couple of years here. This past year, the other thing we had left is we needed to do the sidewalls of the bridge and all, I did get some estimates, and the estimates were over $100,000, way out of our budget. So, we're gonna take a break on the bridge, for the next couple of years. If the state wants to, help us with the infrastructure and give us some of the money that they pass down to the county, I'd be glad to take it. And I'm not projecting to do any work on the bridge next year, so.
Is that the bridge here in Tom's Creek?
It's the only bridge that we actually own, which is on the old Waynesboro Pike.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we only own.
It says how many people live on that road?
In our township,
That's the only bridge we have.
in our township, we have 4 to 5 homes.
Yeah, and that's.
The bridge is actually in really pretty decent shape, it's been built in 1927, but it has some facial work that needs to be done, and, I couldn't get any bidders.
It still passes as satisfactory.
Yeah, it still passes satisfactory, but I put out for bids, no one wanted to bid on it, and one guy that I did finally twist his arm enough and gave me a bid of over $100,000.
So-
He didn't want to do it.
So what you said was, we have five homes over in that area? But we got-
On that particular road,
Okay.
yeah.
And what's the rest of the traffic? Is that just all it is?
It's Kettle Valley traffic.
But it's in our township.
Well, yeah, part of the road, half the roads in Carroll Valley, half the roads in Terrace.
Yeah. We can't make them pay?
No. No, we
Nice
don't-
thought, but it doesn't work.
Doesn't work that way?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It needs repair, but like Bob said, it's satisfactory.
Yeah, it's insatisfactory, that's why I
This
dropped
is
yours.
yours, this is mine.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, I have been talking to the county engineer, and I did ask him some questions that we could piggyback off of them when they do bridge work and stuff like that, cause they do a lot more bridge work, and, then we can fit it in our budget that way.
Yeah.
He wasn't so receptive to that idea, but again, from talking to our liquid fuels reps and guys like that, that's some ways that you can do that. And then put some pressure on, people like our Senator Dan Mao, about giving us some money maybe to help us do the infrastructure for this bridge, because they do have, money that they can allocate to different townships, just like Carroll Valley, just got, $100,000 for them to help upgrade their sewer treatment plant, so I'm gonna be pressuring our congressman to help us with the bridge.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get you on that.
The only problem with that is, just remember, there's only 5 houses, so there's not a lot of voting power there.
Yeah.
It's
Got it.
The coal patch, the coal mix, 1,500, I dropped it by 500, we did use a lot of that this year. Here you're gonna see some of this aggregate stone that's in our liquid fuels, that's not in their general fund, and it falls in here, to, $2,000 increase for stone and stuff like that we use out here on the roads, along the roads. We did a lot of that this past year, and we used a lot of liquid fuels in that. One thing I did put in here this year, that we had in last year, we did not use, is $10,000 for trimming brush back and trees. So next year I am going to be projecting that we rent a high lift and we do some more canopy opening for 2025.
And you guys do that work. You don't outsource it.
Nope, we do that work. Yeah. We have outsourced it before, but we found it was
Cost prohibitive.
it was better for us to do it in-house, and we did a better job.
Okay.
Off-road diesel, here comes the diesel, the biodiesel. I did drop those prices a little bit, and these are actualities what we used, so we dropped it actually about $2,000 if you take the two numbers there together, for the bio and for the on-road and off-road diesel. Base repair, $3,000 the same. Pipe replacement, same thing. Now the pipe replacement, this is pipes that we projected. We actually spent a lot more than $3,000 in pipe replacement over on Bullfrog this year, but we actually had the actuals of what it cost to do the project last year, or this past year. We had some money left over. I mean, what we projected, so we used that money to do all the pipe replacement for Bullfrog. Line painting, put in $4,000 in line painting. We had 0 in there this past year. And if you've seen, guys, I'm still waiting for the line painting company to come out and stripe 5 of our roads this year. It's about $5,000, 18 cents a foot to do it. So I put in for next year, we're going to be doing some projects, and we want to paint the road when we're done. So, our maintenance and repair budget, from last year was $66,537. Defined, we're at $45,000, this year projected. We dropped down here to 439.01, this is road construction work. This is, projects that we're doing for 2025. This past year, we did 315,000, what we projected. This coming year, I'm projecting $215,000. That's for the Bullfrog Road, project, over there. And the total expense last year was $398,235. I'm projecting $279,500. A difference of $118,755. Any question on liquid fuels?
No, sir.
I think the next sheet that you have should say, proposed 2025 budget.
And I'm just like to comment on that, obviously, these are not really budgets, they're just the other accounts that are impacted by the budget.
Yes.
How we're sitting.
Yes, so the adopted 24, you can look down there for the total income, total expenses, and you can just go right on down to general operations and then down to the income and the total expenditures was $493,000. We're proposing for 2025 $500,000 even.
You're looking at two different budgets there, or two different.
I'm looking at the adopted for
For the general operating?
Yeah, I just went down the whole sheet.
Oh, there's two on here.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then you got the proposal. You got the adopted
There's
2024.
two separate, yeah, but there's two separate.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
One's 143, yes. And
Yeah, one's 143, and the other one, and then the other one down is the general operation reserves.
Correct.
Yeah, capital. I'm sorry.
That's all
Did
right.
I mess you up on that?
No, I followed you.
It's just, yeah. these
I
are
got
just
that. I
some-
got you down the winding road that you took me on.
Yeah.
They're just basically what the accounts are gonna look like next year based on the other, budgets.
Yeah. So this is what the accounts is. When do you want to explain that better than me on the
No,
differences?
these are the reserve accounts, and this is how they're gonna be impacted next year by any monies that we're using from them, and then the income they may be making from interest or transfers.
Right. So
There's
what?
no actual.
We're gonna have, for 2025, if we adopt this budget as proposed, we will have, $250,000 in our 6-month operational reserve. That's a difference of $50,000. The unallocated reserves, we will have $48,050 in there, a difference of $39,000. Now, I will tell you, if we adopt the budget as it is and we leave with no tax increase or nothing like that, we will have $250,000 in our reserve account. That will be a 6-month reserve, and that will only leave us $50,000 allocated in our general reserve for anything else that happens in a year. So if we have something comes up that we don't have in the budget, we only have $50,000 to pull from.
Yeah.
That's it. What has happened over the past few years, Chris, is we've not been really doing any tax increases or anything that per se, but we've been pulling most of our projects, road projects and stuff like that from our reserve account. So it's depleting our reserve account. And that's what our proposed budget is this year. We're gonna take money from the reserve accounts and we're gonna use it to balance our budget.
The liquid fuels project.
And all the liquid fuels projects, that money's coming straight out of reserves. It's not coming out of general, it's coming out of reserve, because our general budget doesn't have any money for any road projects, zero. So if we wanna do road projects, we have to take it from our reserve account. So that will leave us with, the money that Wendy has put out here for us, for $250,000 in reserve and an additional $50,000, in unallocated. So my proposal is gonna be, and here it is, on the next sheet, is we can't continue to pull money from reserve accounts that we put in there, and I'm gonna propose, you have different proposals for tax increases, and before you have, if you do nothing, it shows you right there what the 2024 is. If you do a quarter mil, that'll be an increase of $42,087. which comes out to about $25 per $100,000, increase in taxes. Half a mil it would generate $84,173,000. A 3/4 mil would generate $126,260, and a full mil is $168,447. I would like to propose a half a mil increase for 2025. That is equivalent to $50 per $100,000 in real estate. It would put back into our reserve account $84,173. Still a lot less than what we're going to be taking out. We're going to be taking out over $200,000 out of that account, and we're going to only put back 84. So that's one thing that we, as a board, have to decide if we're going to do a tax increase for 2025.
Just out of curiosity, for my own benefit, you guys did a ton of work this year on Bullfrog Road, right?
Yes.
So how much did you spend on Bullfrog Road this year?
Well, we had projected $225,000, and we actually, the actuality came in when we actually did the work. It was $173,000. We projected just for the full depth reclamation was actually at $225. When we actually got the job done and paid the bill, it was $173. So we saved about $50-some thousand in that. What we did is we took some of that money we already allocated for Bullfrog. We bought pipes to replace all the pipes, which were $8,000. And then we turned around, instead of us doing the pipe replacement ourselves, because we got to rent the equipment and the man hours, and we're just actually, to be honest with you, we're not experts at doing this kind of stuff. We actually hired an outside contractor to come in at $30,000 to do the work for us. So we were at $38,000, 173 plus $38,000. And then we threw in line painting on that. The double
Topsoil, all the burn work.
We did the burn work on that. So we're still, even with all the what we ended up accomplishment, we're still under the $225,000.
So then we're gonna invest another similar amount in this 2025. So
Correct.
of 24-25, it's roughly, let's just
$400,000.
yeah, $400,000. How much of the township lives in that area?
A lot.
Okay.
That road is one of the most highly trafficked roads in the township.
Yep.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 roads that interject that road,
Yep.
and it also is the main thoroughfare from Fairfield to 15.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is our main travel.
Heavy commercial vehicle.
Yeah, it's a heavy traffic road. What we've done on that road, Chris, is we're doing a full depth reclamation on that road.
Yep.
That road for years before, prior to that, was tar and chipped, and just we've had tar and chipped on it probably 9 times. I mean, it was huge. So what we're doing is we're doing full depth reclamation with porcelain concrete in there. This road, instead of being a road that we have to repair every 3 to 5 years, then we don't have to mess with it. We'll just do maintenance on it for the next 30 years.
So what I hear is this is like an artery for the township. A lot of people are using it, and if they were question why we're spending so much in it, it's just the lifeblood to the community to make sure that road gets everything.
And the thing is, with the township as a whole, we have been doing this for some years now, is we've gone away from tar and chip. Tar and chip is like a Band-Aid you put over
Yeah, exactly.
something.
Yeah.
It's nothing but gravel and oil thrown down. And so what you're doing is you're pushing the project down the road, down the road, down the road.
Yeah, you're just passing.
My theory and my thinking is, since I become a roadmaster, is you know what, we need to spend the money up front, do it right one time, and do maintenance on it the next 30 years.
Especially if it's one of the more highly visible used roads for the community.
Well, we don't have to do a full depth reclamation on the balance of the road that we're talking about. That would be $500,000 or more.
Yeah.
If we did that, but we don't need to, because that was done several years ago, so we have a good solid base under there, we're just gonna do an overlay.
Yep, and you gotta make those investments, right? We
Yeah,
gotta-
and that's the thing, we're making an investment on these roads, and trying to make them at this stage, and then later on, all we have to do is a lot of maintenance on them. Like keep the water off the roads, keep your ditches cleaned out, keep your pipes cleaned out, and you get a 25-year, 30-year road.
Right.
We've done that, on a couple of the other shorter roads, we've done that on. And it's my thing is I've been preaching to the choir here for a while is we do one road a year until we get them all done.
Yeah.
And then once we get them all,
We start back over again.
yeah, and mainly it's more or less been, maintenance.
Yeah.
When you start doing super paving, and overlays like we've been doing, then you get into a place where you're doing maintenance, you're just doing maintenance on roads.
Got it. Okay, thanks, that answers my question on that, so.
Yeah.
Very cool. If anyone were to ask, I can explain why.
Yep, because a lot of our roads too, a lot of the, not a lot of them now, we've been working on this for some years now, so we're getting into a good spot with them. Is, if you see on these roads where you get these potholes and it's busting all up, like, one road would be Girl Scout. Girl Scout is a Township road, it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick. Every year now that we have the thaw and freeze, it's blown apart. I mean, it's literally blown apart. One of the ideas I had and been talking with the state about is tearing that road completely up, and then putting down like a national park road where they come in and they put I forgot the material they put down. But
It's not like a dusty.
it's a dust dirt road.
Oh, yeah.
High crown road.
You let it set for a couple of years, and then once it settles out, then you come in and you super pave it,
Yeah.
and you got a permanent grade.
I'm from New Hampshire where we just kept dirt roads because you just have to go through a grader no matter what during the spring and it's flat, so I get it.
Yeah, I see, that would be fantastic. When some of the residents heard the idea about digging up a road and making it dirt again, I got some phone calls.
I'm sure you did. I'm
And,
sure you did.
because we have, people today, they want
Yeah.
these
yeah.
roads.
And we still get frosties, and it's gonna affect the road.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we're headed towards, here in Liberty Township, is getting all our roads brought up, to what's considered a state standard with super pave and stuff like that, and then just maintain maintenance on it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And basically, after we get done Bullfrog, the two big projects facing us, I would say personally, is the Orchard Road from 16 over to Track,
Yep.
and then the full length of Petra Road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those roads are high on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two are definitely high on the list. Actually, Petra, is at the top of the list because you live on Petra. That's what you get. I actually had projected numbers last year for Petra, and Petra, just buying Petra alone was $565,000.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It's a significant investment.
Yeah.
It's almost 2 miles.
Yeah, it's almost 2 miles of road, and that's the thing, we have to build up our reserve accounts and stuff like that. That's one of the reasons I'm projecting this, half a mil increase, because we do have these things coming that we have to give attention to, and if we don't do something about how we're gonna generate income, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up. So on that, I don't know what item number we would call this one, but the proposed tax number, and you said quarter mil, half a mil.
Yeah,
So this is just the bulk number that you're choosing. Do you know what the percentage of tax increase this is? I mean, I can do the math, but I don't know. You know, that's
when you-
before-
when you-
It's right there.
it's right there at your tip, go ahead.
Oh, what's the percentage?
Yeah, I just wanna make sure I understand the number. So for, 0.25, what is 0.2, that's $250,000 increase? Is that what, that's 0.25, or is that the percentage?
That's the percentage.
That's
Okay.
the percentage.
Alright, so when he was saying mil, it's actually the percentage number,
It's
right?
the same, but I think it's mil, like more zeros than percentage.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
just, it's
alright.
just a terminology.
Alright, so just wanna make sure I understood that, so it's a
Yeah.
0.25%, 0.5%, 0.75, and then a 1% increase on our tax base
Correct.
for that, and then.
Per 100,000.
Per 100,000.
Per
Okay.
100,000, yeah.
Alright, I just wanna make sure I understand the numbers in case someone wanted to ask.
Right, so there's where we're at on our budget process. Anyone have any more questions on the budget?
No, I'm sorry, I think I asked it.
So,
So I do
what we
have-
have to do at this point in time is, if we have no more questions on the budget, we have to advertise the
No,
budget.
excuse me, I
Okay.
do wanna interrupt. This is just a budget discussion.
Yeah.
We do not vote at this time. All, we will, if you have anything any comments or considerations, let me know before the November meeting.
Yeah.
This budget and the tax increase will be on the agenda for November 6th, is that our meeting date?
The
Wednesday.
fifth, yes, sixth, yes, because the fifth we have.
And then you need to make a decision.
So I have another question again now.
Yeah.
It'll be the fifth.
No, the fifth?
When's the election?
Oh, that's right, because of the elections.
Yeah,
yes.
we're on Wednesday.
When is the last time that the community saw a tax increase of this magnitude?
Never.
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 Why?
And that's part of the problem, Chris.
We did one that was eighth of a mil increase.
Some of the previous administration were proud of the fact that they never raised the taxes a penny for 16 years. They got behind the eight ball. They never kept up with things, expenses, you know.
Yeah, and we gotta make that up.
And now, yeah, and we did have a quarter mil, was it?
A quarter.
Quarter mil a year or two ago.
And then when we eliminated the fire tax so when we eliminated fire tax, we rolled that in as a tax increase. So it did not change your overall
I
tax.
did change it overall.
You lost fire tax, but your bill didn't change because we increased by that fire tax of 0.25, we added it to the real estate tax.
Yeah, and we
So
just
even
kept
though
it in
the
there
fire
as
tax was
donation.
eliminated, we increased real estate and it zeroed it out.
So if I was a constituent in the community and I got my annual tax bill, the numbers stayed the
It stayed the
change, but
same.
the titles changed,
It
right?
wasn't going to fire anymore, it was going to real estate.
Right, and then relative, can you just give me, can I
You
ask
know what
you,
I'm going to do is I'm going to email you the history that I have of the tax increase every time.
and
that
can I ask you for something or do I
Yeah.
have to ask the county for it?
For
Can I get just a rundown of, like what the comparative
Yeah.
taxes are for?
I have that.
You
Oh,
did?
yeah,
Yeah, I give it out every year, I have that sheet.
So I
It
assume
shows
we're
every
lower,
county, it shows
Okay.
everyone's tax, yes, I have a sheet, I'll get that to you.
and we're running a bit of a deficit, and we need to catch up, and if we don't catch up now, we're in a pickle.
So
The
yeah,
difference
I'll send you the county, breakout for all municipalities,
Yeah, so
and
we
then
have
I'll
that.
send you our history.
Alright, is it in our number?
It's not in that number.
Oh, okay.
And when you look at that, Chris, what you're gonna see is some townships are much lower.
Oh,
than
yeah.
us. However, they have a lot of businesses
Exactly.
within
They have other
there,
income.
so.
I've been asking those questions too.
So, yeah, there's a big
Is it-
disparity there.
Is it Mount Joy? One of them has, some of them have no real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some of them have zero, they have no tax.
Yeah, but they got a data center or
Yeah.
whatever, they've
Hotel.
got.
Yeah, they got an
A
Amazon
hotel,
warehouse.
exactly, right, that's what you're saying, right, and we don't have that, nor do we have the ability to do that because we don't, of our proximity to 15 and the type of roads that we have, so we're not, we're not gonna have a.
Yeah, Mount Joy has a zero tax.
Yeah, Mount Joy has.
Highland, Huntington has a zero tax. Yeah, some of them are so low, it's like, oh my God.
I can just, you have that, I'll just put it
But
up here.
we're more of a residential community.
We are, oh yeah, totally, right?
We are.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have
We
a.
are
Right.
agriculture residential, that's what we are.
So that's the other thing, I can ask, I'd be interested in this, similar types, because there's no sense comparing an apple to a squash.
Oh, yeah,
No, no,
exactly.
Right? You know,
That's
I mean,
it.
we're not even talking fruits, we're talking just, these are vegetables and
And I
fruits
use
coming
that
in.
same mentality of thinking about my police department, when you compare Liberty Township, Carroll Valley, or Cumberland, they're much bigger, income base than we are. So we can't even compete with the hourly rate of what they are.
Yeah, and if I walk out of this budget meeting because we know things don't move fast, right? I'm thinking like the 10-year horizon, right? Because that's about what it's gonna be. And if we don't take some Band-Aid measures now to address these financials for the
Yes.
community, we're gonna have a $200,000 bridge project. We're gonna have a police force that's expanded by 30%.
Bridge project.
You know, and a $500 road repair, and we're gonna have $50K in our capital reserve budget because we just spent that all over the past 5 years to
Right.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Actually, for a bridge comparison, you're not gonna touch a bridge.
This is last year's, I'll actually email.
You won't touch,
this year's.
you won't touch a bridge project for less than $1 million.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah. Oh no. So I think you know this. My brother works in concrete roads and highways. So
Oh.
I am intimately familiar with working with aggregate materials and more so than I'm one. I have fond memories of college work. It paid well.
Alright, so, we're gonna hit,
So think about all of these things and be prepared for your decision at the November 6th meeting. Because we do, like Mr. Rowley said, have to vote at that time that we are going to move forward for advertising.
yeah, what will happen, Chris, too, at that meeting is we're not gonna at the general meeting, I won't spend a lot of time on going back over the budget unless there's specific numbers or specific things you wanna talk about. Because what will happen is I'll say, when we get to the budget, I'll say if there's any questions, any changes you wanna make to the proposed budget at this time. If you say no, my second thing is gonna be, I'll make a motion that we accept the budget as proposed, advertise the budget.
Yeah, no, I think as far as I'm concerned, having reviewed them and then just gone through with some additional questions, for me, the biggest concern is I get the budgets, is the budget. But I see, you know, I'm sitting here looking at a cannon looking at me that someone's about to light a match on. And it's not that bad. I mean, it's not a 911 situation.
Right.
But again, we don't make decisions very quickly.
Yeah.
And so I do see this 10-year horizon. And you know, if you guys are continuing to, right now we have an opportunity to actually make a couple of changes that might be slightly painful. However, these changes need to happen now with an executive leadership that actually has a clue about, been around long enough, because when new leadership comes in, you gotta bring them up to speed, right, like you're bringing me up to speed.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to make some pretty significant, you know,
Oh,
investments,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
like
that-
they say, you can't keep kicking the can down the
No.
road.
You know, some of the things, Chris, to be honest with you, that people don't think about in the community generally, is when it comes to this type of thing. They wanna live here, they wanna pay the least amount of taxes that they have to pay and all that stuff. But there's so many things behind the scenes that drive what can change our budget. You know, we
That
have.
snowstorm.
Yeah, snowstorm can
Windstorm.
change it. Like I said, you know, you can have what happened in North Carolina, Florida and stuff like that. That changes immediately.
Yeah.
Some of the things. But some of the other things will change it too is if you have a developer who comes in here and wants to develop and stuff like that, and we have to spend money to litigate all this kind, that money's not in this budget. It's not
Right.
here.
Right.
You know, if they wanna put a water treatment center in and we have to go through all the meetings and everything like that, the monitors, that's money not in this budget. That we're gonna spend,
I didn't write that one down either.
you know?
Hypothetically speaking, not that we plan on that happening, but if that were to occur, or something like that were to occur,
Yeah, it's a possibility, but anyhow.
Whenever you're
you
ready.
digress.
Yeah, so at this time, if we're done with the budget process, I'm gonna make a motion that we end our budget, discussion.
This, are we gonna
I'll
end the
second
meeting?
that.
Huh?
We're gonna end the meeting.
Yes, we're ending the meeting. I make a motion to do that.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right, thank you.